Hey everyone, welcome back to the Hills Adventist podcast. I'm Leesha.
And I'm Liam. Today we'll be diving into everything making news around our school.
From Multicultural Day and the Pink Bun fundraiser to Year 5 camp and the Career Expo.
Plus, we'll be shining a subject spotlight on senior chemistry with Miss Brussow and share essential tips for managing study stress. Let's jump right in.
Okay. It's time for our subject spotlight. And today we're putting senior chemistry under the microscope.
We're joined by Miss Brussow to chat about how to succeed future careers and the coolest experiments she's ever seen.
Okay, starting off, welcome to the Hills Adventist podcast. How do you feel?
Firstly, thank you for having me. I feel really great to be here. A little bit nervous, but feel really privileged to be a part of this.
That's great. Well, the first question is, why should students choose chemistry, like in general? And how does it help students in like real life situations?
Good question. I suppose chemistry is a lot of fun, actually, if you get into it. In terms of real life scenarios or the way that it kind of impacts you on your day-to-days, it really helps you understand the world around you. So like this, you'll understand why this kind of material functions the way that it does and why we select certain materials to perform certain jobs. Not only on the material side of things, you can look at pretty much any sort of chemical around you, whether you are looking at some cleaning products or cosmetics, those are all chemicals. So actually understanding the structure behind it makes it really, really intriguing when you're figuring out the function for things like, oh, this is why we pick to use esters for something like perfumes. So it's really a good link. So you actually walk around, your eyes sort of open up to so many more things around you when you have a good understanding of the basics.
Thank you.
Thank you. So for our second question, what university courses and career pathways can chemistry lead to?
Okay, so chemistry is a really good foundational science. It kind of opens up the world of many different areas, specifically looking into the medical field like that. Any sort of, if you want to be a doctor or if you want to go into dentistry or pharmacy, chemistry is something that you are going to need for that. Other courses that you might not always think about, or at least if you have a chemistry foundation, going into cosmetics, so actually creating makeup or creams or perfumes, that kind of opens up all sorts of areas of that, and anything that needs like critical thinking, because chemistry builds on that. Any industry that kind of uses that, you're pretty set.
Okay, thank you. Our third and last question is, what is the coolest experiment you have ever conducted in this school?
Okay. Well, we've done a lot of fun ones. One of my favorites is the flame test that we do with the year 11s. So basically that's looking at the way metals can emit light, all different colors, and that's always the most beautiful to see. But an all-time favorite would be my first year teaching here. I did the ester practical with the year 12s. So what that entails is using two different organic compounds to form an ester, but those two are incredibly stinky, to say the least. So we ended up basically stinking up the whole school for the rest of the day. Everybody stayed so clear of us after that experiment, just because the stench just stuck around for the rest of the day. So I always warn people when we do that again. So that's kind of a fun one.
Yeah.
Okay.
I know the flame test was fun.
Yeah, it was very fun.
Yeah, you
Copper
guys were
chloride
great at that.
Thank
Copper
you.
chloride always makes a beautiful color.
Yeah. Well,
Thank you for having
Yeah,
thank you
thank
for
you
coming.
for coming.
Well, thanks so much for having me. And yeah, looking forward to more experiments in the future.
Thank you, Miss.
Thank you, Miss.
No problem.
First up, let's talk about incredible colours, food, and performances from Multicultural Day.
Joining us to share their favorite highlights and discuss why celebrating our diversity matters is Miss Chandukumar, Pria, and Kiara.
Thank you for joining us. And for our first question, what is the purpose of Multicultural Day and why is it important for our school community?
Yeah, I think we have a cool opportunity to express our identity as a school of having just students and staff from so many nations around the world, but we get to be here together in one community and like celebrating the same values. So I think Multicultural Day is a cool expression of that.
Multicultural Day is really all about embracing our differences through each other's cultures, practices, and traditions, food, and other things that make us different.
And it's also important in our school to learn about different cultures and backgrounds because we're in an Adventist faith.
Oh, thank you. For the second question, How does learning about different cultures help students become more open-minded and respectful?
I mean, I think there's something that happens when we're all together. Like, we have so many people from different faiths and cultural backgrounds. It's sometimes easy to think that what you know and what you do is the only right way or the only normal thing. But when you get to share in other people's cultures and see how they interact with each other and see their foods and see their dances and their beautiful clothing and hear language, like, it can expand what you know as being just different, not right or wrong, but just different and actually kind of beautiful. Yeah.
I think it gives us a perspective and better understanding of everyone's cultures and other people's practices, and it brings us together by or embracing our differences.
It gives us a better like outlook on each other's lives and a diverse outlook through each other's like families and traditions.
Thank you. And for our third and final question, were there any cultural performances, foods, or traditions that stood out to you?
Oh, you guys had some good ones. I think you should go first. Yeah.
So we really liked the Year 12's Indian performance. It was really energetic, jumpy movie, and even though not all of them were of an Adventist or like Indian background, they still like gave it a shot, and it was really inspiring.
I found the different cultures and different traditional food stalls like really interesting. Actually, we did a stall ourselves. We did the Belgian waffles. It was actually quite fun. Instead of waffles, we did pancakes. But it was a really fun experience, to be honest.
Yeah, I think obviously I have to say the whole thing because it was all epic. Like, I was standing at the top of S Block and just like looking over the whole thing. I was like, this is amazing. But I think shout out to Mrs. Lola Hayes' like Tongan drink stand. That was really epic. Mr. Kid in his full on kilt situation with the Iron Brew. That was awesome. But I guess a highlight for me would be just like all the different parts of our community that just pulled together. There were parents, there were primary school kids, there were teachers, there were students from different grades, and everyone just like creatively came up with something to share on the day. So I think the whole thing was awesome.
Thank you. Thank you for some great insights.
And thank you for joining us today.
Oh, of course,
Thank
thank
you.
you.
For our next segment, we'll be talking about when our school raised money for Pink Bun Day.
Here to talk about how our community rallied together to raise money is Nico and Mira.
Hi. For the first question, can you tell us what Pink Bun Day is and who we are raising money to help?
Pink Bun Day is the day where we sell pink buns and we raise money for people who have breast cancer.
Okay.
Oh, thank you. How did it make you feel knowing that buying a bun was helping sick people out there?
It made me feel like happy knowing that I could always like help all the sick people that were there, because like you don't want them to be like in pain or anything. You want them to be healthy. So it made me feel really good.
For the last question, what was the best part of Pink Bun Day for you?
The greatest highlight for me was raising money for the people with breast cancer, because I'm helping and I'm also going to have a tasty treat.
Ah, that's good. Thank you guys for coming.
Okay.
Time to talk about the outdoor adventures. The Year 5s are back from camp after a week of facing fears and team building.
Here to recap the most exciting challenges and sum up of the trip is Dina, Rinyra, and Belie.
What was the most fun part of Year 5 camp?
Bowling was very fun, but for most children, Scenic World was definitely the highlight of this trip.
Okay. For our second question, did anything feel really tricky or scary, and how did you handle it?
Gold panning was really tricky, but the tour guide helped us succeed in finding gold eventually.
Oh, that's great. Well, last and final question. Can you describe Year 5 camp in just 3 words?
Memorable, historically educational, and very fun and exciting.
Do you guys good? Oh, do you guys have one really funny story from camp?
Yes, I have one. Apparently, I have a friend named Nusha, and when we went bowling, she was hanging off a chair, and then she fell on the bowling floor.
Ooh, is she okay?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, that's
Well,
great.
I'm gonna laugh about it now.
In my cabin, okay. Everyone in my cabin was acting crazy, okay. And then I filmed everything on my camera, and we were like singing the song "Baby" by Justin Bieber, and like hanging off the chairs and and the beds.
I'm not sure this is something we should be admitting on.
Sorry,
on the school
and
podcast.
started
Go
dancing
for it.
like crazy. And I filmed it on camera.
Okay.
Oh, that's great.
Okay.
That
Okay.
sounds fun.
That sounds entertaining. Anything else? You don't have to if you don't want to.
No.
Okay. Well,
Okay, that's
thank
okay.
you guys for coming.
Thank you for coming.
Finally, let's talk about looking after ourselves, balancing study, the HSC sport, and life can be stressful.
We're wrapping up with practical strategies to avoid burnout and a guide to well-being resources at school by Miss Vaness. Hello.
Hello.
For our first question, what are the most practical strategies students can use to manage stressful and avoid burnout before the HSC?
Okay, we're talking HSC. Now, it's really important to get your perspective right. And I think the first thing to do in that space is to make sure that you are managing the things that you can change. So be aware of those things that you can control. So for example, you might want to create realistic goals. Yeah? Create the realistic goals that you know you can achieve. It might mean that you will need to break down your study into smaller chunks. It might mean that you need to start studying earlier than the night before. Because a lot of these things that stress us out might be pressures that we put on ourselves. So I think first of all, focus on what you can control. So that would be how early you start to study, your study environment, make sure that's conducive to study, and make sure that you have a plan. So this might mean that you do things in smaller chunks, make sure your revision notes are all in order. A lot of the time, students may have their notes all out of order, and that already is going to be stressful. But also make sure that you're looking after yourself. So making sure you get enough sleep, making sure that you're eating healthy, making sure that you're drinking a lot of water, staying active. All of these things actually contribute to how we respond to stress. And unfortunately, what tends to happen is we get stressed and all those things go out the window. We stop exercising, we stop eating well, we stop drinking water. All of those things tend to be forgotten, where they are the things that we can control. So let's make sure we get enough sleep and eating well, staying active. Those things will help with our concentration and how we manage our stress. The other thing to really be aware of, if you are struggling, make sure you talk to someone. Reach out. There are a lot of people that are available to support.
Thank you for some great advice, especially for the Year-12s that are coming up and they're going to do the HSC, which is pretty stressful, and I think that's going to be us next year. But moving on to the second question, how can students balance study, sleep, sport, and social activities effectively?
Good question, and I think the key is balance. You need to make sure that you balance things out. Most students can't do everything 100%, so we have to give and take. And that's going to change depending on the season you're in. So for example, the week before an assessment or the week before exams, your schedule might be a little bit different. But it's important that you prioritize these health and well-being areas. For example, we need to treat exercise, eating well, like regular appointments. So we need to actually create a schedule and say, okay, we are going to book in these sessions of exercise, these sessions of sleep time, and actually commit to doing them. That way you can see, oh, I actually have time to socialize, I actually have time for sport, and still have all of these blocks of time to study. When we don't plan, when we don't prepare, we often think, oh no, we don't have time for those things, and then they get forgotten. So having a clear schedule is really, really helpful, and making sure that you lock in those appointments for your well-being.
Yeah, thank you for that answer, Miss. I know I have to balance swimming with my homework, which gets stressful sometimes. And for our final question, what resources and support services are available here at school for students who need help?
Okay. Now, at school, we have lots of supports. And it's important to reach out before you get overwhelmed. Yeah. So to start with, we have our classroom teachers. Obviously, if there are questions or concerns around content, they would be your first port of call. You have your homeroom teachers who are also there to support you with your well-being and things like that. There's also myself, other teachers that you see around. Maybe there's another teacher you've had in another year that you've connected well with. By all means, reach out to anyone you feel you can trust. But also, we have an awesome well-being program at school. We have school counsellors that include counsellors and psychologists. We have our school chaplains who are also there to provide pastoral care and support. So we really have a really good team. And your head of school or myself, and this is for HSC, but in the lower grades, we also have other well-being teachers that are available to help out. So I think the key is to know that you're not alone. And if you do forget who you can reach out to, ask any teacher and say, look, I'm feeling a little bit stressed. I need some additional support. Who can I go to? And they'll be able to guide you in the right direction. And if that doesn't work out, let your parents know. They can reach out to us and say, hey, my child is really struggling, and we can put together some supports. Those are academic, those are stress related, all types of supports. And if you want to get involved in more sport, we can do that too. So really want to encourage you to reach out if there is something that you need some support with.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, Miss, for coming on our podcast and for such great answers to our questions.
Awesome. Thank you for the opportunity. I love it.
Thank you, Miss.
Thank you.
Now let's look at the future. Figuring out life after school can be tough, but the Career Expo helped clear the path.
Joining us to break down how students can start exploring their options right now is Pranav, who's usually behind the camera.
Hi.
Hi
For
there.
the first question, what was the main purpose of the Career Expo, and what did you personally get out of it?
Ooh, okay. So there he was. So, what was the question again?
What was the main purpose of the Career Expo, and what did you personally get out of it?
Okay, so the main point of the Career Expo is that, it's a venue for all the major universities in New South Wales and all over Australia. I'm talking about USyd, University of Melbourne, UTS, UNSW, Macquarie, ETC. And so it's meant to give students like me an opportunity to explore degrees we could take. It was only the year 12s, but also the year 10s, I would say. And so what I personally gained was that I was able to cut down my options a lot more, and I could make sure I get the specific marks and the specific courses.
Well, that was some great experiences. Second up, were there any industries or career pathways that surprised or excited you?
So I explored all over most of the bottom floor, I would say. But I think the one that excited me the most, though not a course I would probably not take, but I was interested at it, I would tell you guys that. It's there was this video game university of sorts. And they had some games on display, some controllers. And you could actually see the process on how the people that actually made the game, made the animations, yada yada yada. So it's pretty interesting. I could have played it with my friends, but they were too busy looking around elsewhere.
Thank you for our third question and final question. Why is it important for students to start exploring career options while still at school?
Okay. So I think I may have already answered it to all of you watching right now, but like to recap it again, what was the question again?
Why is it important for students to start exploring career options while still at school?
Okay, so it's important because like not much people have like a set pathway, I would say. Hey, for most people, like some would want to be a doctor, engineer, even a tradie, I would say. Even someone who probably someday would like produce this video, perhaps, maybe. And so like it's a bad idea to like look at the Korea Expo as a way to explore like universities that support your pathway and other potential degrees that may like coincide with your interest and whatnot. Like what subjects you're good at. Like if you're like good at maths but like you don't want to be an engineer, like that's fine. You don't have to be an engineer or anything. But like if you want to be an engineer but if you're bad at maths, then like do you really have to take engineering instead? Yeah, so like that's what I'm getting at, I would say.
Okay. Well, thank you for coming on the podcast and giving such great answers.
Thank you too.
Thank you.
Thank you for tuning in for our podcast.
We would like to thank all of our guests for coming on and all of you for watching. And if any of you have any ideas or want to be on our podcast, message us or Mr. Gates.
Thank you.